In this video, we're in Tokyo. Hey, I'm Jazmin, Florida raised, now in Texas, exploring theme parks and so much more around the world. So if you're into theme parks, travel, and food like me, subscribe and follow along. It's day one of our 3-day adventure in the city of Tokyo. We've already tackled my dream park, Tokyo Disney, and I have a full detailed guide of each park on this channel. Now we've dropped off our bags at our hotel and are on full tourist mode, baby. First stop is always filling up the belly. Everywhere on social media, I'd see these fluffy, decadent looking pancakes and needed to try those. So we went to this place called A Happy Pancake, and it was this very small, cute looking spot. I was ready to see what the hype was about. I don't know if it's my American taste buds, but was not expecting for the egg flavor to be so prominent and not as sweet as I thought. I was kind of let down by this. But right nearby was the Uniqlo flagship store, which we had to visit. We love anything Uniqlo. Headed to the top floor because this store has their own coffee shop. Grabbed a coffee and some delicious snacks that hit the spot. Then went shopping. Explored all 12 floors and ran into one that had merch in collaboration with local artists and businesses, which I always love. It makes each store so unique. We had to grab one of these beauties. While Gabe tried on some clothes, I found this comfy spot for some great people watching. Up next, we went to Don Quijote for a lot of shopping and no recording, so I didn't show you any of that. But then we stopped at Japan's popular convenience store, Family Mart, for their famous Fami Chiki, which I would say is the ultimate convenient, affordable, and actually delicious midday snack. Highly recommend. Found some real-life Mario Kart riders on our way out, and I considered doing this, but to be honest, I was too scared to drive in these city streets. But next time, I'll get over my fear. I hear it's an incredible experience. Took the train and arrived at Electric Town, a town full of anime, maid cafes, and a gamer's paradise. This is Akihabara, where otaku or die-hard fan culture can be found. So as a die-hard fan ourselves, our first stop was Square Enix Cafe, which I learned that closed permanently. That hurts me, but since then, we've learned that they have a new good shop called Square Enix Garden in Shibuya. I'll attach the address right here. Still, it was so cool to see merch and signed autographs from our favorite video game, Kingdom Hearts. Then explored some more and found claw games, and not sure what the other games were, but they all look so fun. Of course, we had to grab a capsule toy from these gacha machines. Next up was Super Potato. Looking for any retro game or gaming console? They've got it. This location has 2 floors of pure nostalgia. I couldn't tell you how many times we spotted something that we had totally forgotten existed. It was really fun walking around every tight, filled to the brim corner, finding all sorts of vintage games and niche merchandise. Hands down, the coolest spot in town. We had to pull ourselves away from playing Super Mario Kart because it was my husband's 30th birthday that day and we had a very special dinner planned. Went to our small Tokyo hotel room and got freshened up, and we were ready to eat. This is Shima, a Wagyu restaurant tucked away in the basement of a business building. This place screamed charm. It was cozy, simplistic, but elegant. Gabe had his first sip of Japanese whiskey and instantly loved it. Their dishes are simple but refined, and the appetizers were delicious, but the star of the show was this A5 Wagyu steak, and how it melted away with tenderness makes my mouth water just thinking about it. Undeniably the best steak I've ever had. But the food wasn't the only thing incredible. The service was spectacular. No language barrier stopped them from being so attentive and welcoming. We were one of the last reservations of the night, and they never rushed us, which was a culture shock for me. Can't recommend this place enough. It is a hidden gem. After that amazing meal, we are back cozy in our hotel provided jammies, ready to bring a fun day to a close. Now day 2 is upon us, and for breakfast, we're hitting up one of the top things to do in Tokyo. Tsukiji Market is an outer market with an assortment of local Japanese cuisine, and this foodie was ready to eat as much as possible. Our game plan was if we saw a long line, we were jumping in. We were walking around and spotted this long line, which led us to our first food item of the day, tamagoyaki, a Japanese rolled omelet. It was soft and served cold, which was very refreshing, but surprisingly sweet too. Then found this other spot and saw that they had a variety of combinations along with the omelet, so we chose the tamagoyaki and eel. I wasn't feeling adventurous at this point, but Gabe gives it a go. Yeah?
Wow.
Next was this vendor selling wagyu skewers, which of course was delicious. But us not realizing how much 5,000 yen was, we went to look it up and see that we spent a whopping $34 USD. I feel like that was a lot, but let me know in the comments, would you spend that much on wagyu? Was thirsty for some tea and found this matcha stand that specializes in high-grade matcha tea, whisked by hand, which I had never seen before and was mesmerized by how quickly they could whisk. Upon our first sip, we realized that matcha back at home was absolute trash compared to this. It was so good, and I quickly found out that hojicha was my new favorite drink. Spotted another long line, we asked no questions and jumped right in. Come to find out, this was raw tuna shop. And y'all, I'm not the biggest seafood eater out there, but I vowed when coming to Japan I'd be open-minded. Still, I was intimidated, but everyone said fresh like this was the way to go. So we grabbed this tuna bowl, and you guys, I am now forever changed. So close.
Best tuna.
Alright.
For sure. So fresh.
Wow. Now for a sweet treat, we grabbed Ichigo Daifuku. This was soft, sweet, and satisfying. Finally, we tried this fried wagyu patty. It was heavenly. For a caffeine pick-me-up, we visited Dawn Robot Cafe. Not only is this the coolest concept, but it serves a special purpose. These robots that serve you coffee are piloted by people who have mobile disabilities or are unable to leave home, which makes this place extra special. Like Moe here, who shares her story of having a severe illness that weakens her and keeps her bedridden. But with Dawn, she can work, socialize, and be a part of society. Forget those exotic animal cafes. You need to come here and support this amazing cause. Also, how cool is it to interact with these robots? If you want food here, you'll have to make a reservation. You can reserve your spot easily online. But if you just want coffee, you can join the wait list once you arrive. This is a must when you're in Tokyo. Hopped on the train and headed to Ueno Park for some much needed rest and relaxation. The hustle and bustle of a big city can be a lot, so we made sure to carve out some time to take in nature. This park is not far from the city at all, but somehow feels so far removed from it. Ueno Park is known to be a very popular place for cherry blossom viewing. We had been there a week after cherry blossoms were in full bloom, so expected to see none. But to my surprise, there were still some beautiful pink blossoms on trees that made me smile. I can only imagine how beautiful this must be when everything is in full bloom. This was exactly what we needed for a reset after a very busy couple of days. After walking out of the park, we noticed the famous Ichiran ramen with no wait, so we walked right up. Here you get to specify the preferences of how you like your ramen and take a seat in these individual cubbies. This place is known to be introverts' favorite dining spot. There's always such a line, and thinking it was a gimmick for that reason, I had to try it for myself. You guys, this ramen was so good. On record, this is the first ramen bowl I actually finished. Headed to the shopping street just across the way, mostly to burn off the calories we ingested all day, and secondly to get some souvenir shopping done. Left with some great and affordable finds and some different Kit Kat varieties, but I did not leave with this cookie and plushie. I was devastated not to win. I won't admit how many times I tried. Took our last train ride of the day straight to our hotel, but had a bit of a sweet treat pit stop because why not? And we ended up with this somewhat vending machine for a late night ice cream and called day 2 to a close. It was our final full day in the city and started bright and early for another very popular spot in Tokyo. This place showed up in every suggestion of the top things to do in the city. We are in Asakusa, known for their old school and traditional aesthetic. We heard this place gets crowded, so we got there at 8:30 a.m. before most of the street food stalls are even open on Nakamise Street. We weren't alone by any means, but the crowds were minimal. I truly recommend the early wake-up call for this destination. We walked all the way down to find the iconic Tsukiji temple and proceeded to take our touristy photos, taking advantage of the low crowds. We found an open coffee shop nearby, took our coffees to go, and walked the short distance to the Sumida River. This river winds through the heart of the city with iconic landmarks in view. One we will be showcasing in just a little bit. This was just the perfect spot to relax. We headed back to Tsukiji Temple and an hour has passed and we saw a drastic increase in the crowd. We don't mind crowds, it's something we're used to, but if you're one that doesn't like to be shoulder to shoulder to see an iconic landmark, then maybe early morning or even late night is the way to go. But now it's time for some street food. First stop was on Nakamise Street for this kinako dango, where the roasted soybean definitely gave a peanut butter vibe. I loved it. Quick stroll through the grounds, walking by the iconic Tokyo Skytree, led us to our next spot, established in 1945 for a Japanese sweetbread known as melonpan, named for the look of the bread but not the taste. Cookie crisp on the outside, soft and sweet on the inside, and the cream luscious. Then another menchikatsu, but this one was filled with onions. A bit greasier, but still so good and savory. After, we found the cutest pudding shop for the silkiest, most decadent, rich, and sweet pudding of my life. I dream about this place frequently. Next, yukari for a perfectly breaded, fried, yet juicy karage chicken. Had to try the curry pan at this place, and the pastry filled with all that Japanese curry goodness. Oh, it was to die for. Lastly, on this street food tour, we went to Suzuki-en, and this place was popular. We waited a while, but for good reason. This is a matcha gelateria known for their high quality matcha mixed into their gelato by level of matcha flavor. 1 being the milkiest with just a dash of matcha, and 7 being the premium, most intense matcha flavor you can get out there. My husband went with the level 3 and I had the level 2, and this was just perfect. My favorite dessert I've had on this trip, hands down. Quick little shameless plug to remind you that if you're enjoying this detailed guide through Tokyo, I would love for you to like this video and subscribe for more content just like this. Now for a midday break at the Asahi building. Fun fact, this building is made to resemble a beer mug with foam on top. So fun and innovative. But we were headed to the top for a beer with a view. This is Asahi Sky Room, where you can order a cold beer overlooking Tokyo, where we saw Skytree of course, but also had a great view of Sensoji Temple from here. Highly recommend a stop here while you're in the Asakusa area. After that refreshing pit stop, it was finally time for the most iconic thing to do in Tokyo. We are in Shibuya to cross the busiest crosswalk in the world. Crazy that thousands of people can cross at once, and it surely felt that way when we were crossing it. It was hectic, but in a way fun. And now I can say that I cross that every time I see Shibuya crossing on TV. But what's even more fun is seeing it happen from above. So we made our way to this rooftop, which I wouldn't recommend, to be honest. I had a very pricey cover charge for a week drink and return. But still, these views made me forget about that quickly. It was so cool seeing this in person rather than on TV, and it had me mesmerized for a while. Some time has passed and our stomachs were growling, so we made our way to this place I had pinned from social media. Roast beef Ueno serves just that. And when we first got there, the line looked short, but in fact, it was not. We waited an hour for this. So fair warning, if you want to try it, maybe don't go on a Saturday. But other than that, these were hearty, savory, tender roast beef, creamy from the egg yolk, and great flavor from the sauce. My hunger was definitely satisfied. After we ate, we wanted to explore the neighborhood of Harajuku. Harajuku is known for colorful street style, trend-setting fashion, and cute or kawaii culture, which makes the street so popular. But just outside of the street, you'll find Anakuma Cafe, a quirky, fun, and adorable cafe where you order coffee on a tablet and get your coffee from a bear paw through a hole in the wall. And this was the definition of cute culture. I mean, did you hear our excitement? Firstly, the bear gave us coins to use on their own gacha machine for fun prizes. We put our coins in and won free coffee for our next visit and some free chocolate, which we handed over to them right away, and we claimed our prize. Then they asked us some fun questions like, where are we from? And I said, America. And then they proceeded to respond by saying they love hamburgers, which made me laugh. Then asked me the hardest question of them all, which was my favorite Japanese food? But then I said ramen, and they surprised me with some cute prop ramen. This was so much fun, I almost forgot about my coffee. The bell was rung and our coffee was ready, and I can't tell you how much I laughed and smiled. This was amazing. You have to come here. We strolled back to Shibuya to our last stop for some last-minute souvenir shopping. Our trip to Tokyo was incredible, and easily is my favorite city in the world now. From eats that changed the way I enjoy Japanese cuisine forever, to fun shops that are uniquely Japanese. We left with a check-in size luggage full of specialty goodies. I cannot wait to book another trip back to this special city. But we aren't done yet in this country, so stay to the end to see where we'll be heading to next. I hope you enjoyed watching our recap as much as I enjoyed making this for you. Hey, and if you liked this video and want to see more content like this, give it a like or subscribe to get notified when the next fun travel or theme park video comes out. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. It means the world to me, and I hope you know that you are loved. I'll see you soon. On the next episode, we're taking the bullet train to the next city, Osaka, to of course visit the next theme park on my bucket list, Universal Studios Japan. Pay a visit to Glico Man and have some delicious fluffy cheesecake. Spend way too much time at Super Nintendo World in USJ and rode the craziest roller coaster of my life.